Hey y'all, what's up? It's me. It is everything fresh and sassy. How are you? I hope all is well with you. I do. Mind, body, spirit, and in health. Look, I only have like really 30 minutes to talk to you because I got to get out of here to go pick up my husband. And so, in order for me to be on time, I need to leave here at a certain time, right? But I wanted to come in here and talk to y'all because I'm seeing a lot of the same thing over and over. And you saw the title. Second part of that title said lost and turned out, because some people are. What they say? Run amok. Some of our people have been run amok. They have lost a good portion of their mind, a good portion of their God-given common sense. That's why they say common sense isn't so common anymore. A lot of people have lost that. People are going through mentally, physically, emotionally. They are very possibly recuperating. And that's probably not the best choice of word, but for lack of a better word, they are probably reaping. That's a better word. They are probably reaping some of what some people call karma. You know, when you don't consider your bad habits, your bad thoughts, your bad actions, when you don't take into consideration, you know, the thoughts and the feelings of someone else, and you just go ahead and lay in and let have, and you do the worst, you do the most to attempt to destroy somebody or hurt somebody or disrespect someone, you got to know it's going to come back. It's going to come back. And like I said, some people call it karma. I call it Yahweh getting that ass to and together. That's what I call it. He's getting you to and together. Because he done got me to and together on a number of occasions. And it seems like he always makes me the example. I'm always the example. Because that's, you know, I used to say I was the one he picked on. That's not the case. I don't believe I'm the one he picked on. I believe I'm the one that he loves a lot. And that's why when I mess up and I do things I shouldn't do, I say things I shouldn't say, you know, he calls me on the carpet on it because he loves me that much and he wants to see me do well. He wants to see me thrive. And to be able to take care of all of the advantages he says he has in store for me. He wants to see to it that I get these things. But if I'm over here cutting up, acting up, you know, doing the worst, doing the most, he's going to put me on my behind and say, you have a seat. You sit down, because right now you don't know how to act. He's going to put me on my behind. And I believe that's true. I'm not the most important person in the world, but I am important. Just like everybody else is important, right? And I believe that Yahweh wants the same thing for all of us. He wants us to do well. He wants us to thrive. And he wants us to be able to partake in all the promises he promised us in his word. But Yahweh's not going to give us this, that, and a third if we out here wilding and acting a fool. Some people would have you to believe that, oh, I'm so holy. Oh, I just want peace for the world. I want your heart to love. I want you to be beautiful and all these wonderful, superfluous things I want for you and the universe and the world. You know type of talking about, right? And meanwhile, they doing dirt. They doing the most. They saying the worst about their fellow sisterin and brethren. I have seen people talk about a person and say, oh, this person did this for me. Oh, they helped me when I was sick. I didn't have money, and they took me in. They took care of me. They gave me a place to stay. And the next thing you know, they're talking about this person like a dog. Like a dog. They're talking about this person like a dog. I'd like to give them something, but they wouldn't appreciate it. They would have this to say. They would have that to say. I mean, just speculating all these nasty and negative things about a person who opened their home to you. I mean, goodness gracious. How do you go from that, this person helped me, they did this, they did that, they opened their home, they helped me when I was sick. How do you go from that to saying, I wouldn't give them that gift because they wouldn't take it the right way? But this person invited you into their home, gave you their bed, gave you a place to sleep, and then you talked about them like a dog. The people who have encouraged you in the way that they could encourage you, and you have disrespected them and treated them worse than a dog. And right now, they may be struggling mentally. I see it. Struggling physically. I see that too. Struggling spiritually. They don't know whether Yahweh is trying to help them or hurt them. They don't know whether they are coming or going. Because one day is chicken, the next day is feathers. One day it's all good, the next day it's all bad. One day you're not going to do this anymore, and the next day you're doing that again. They don't know whether they're coming or going. They don't know whether they're coming or going. And they are suffering, mind, body, spirit, and in health. In every way you can, just look at them. They are suffering. They're suffering in their mind. 1 minute they're happy, 1 minute they're sad. The next minute they're up, the next minute they're down. I mean, emotions and feelings just all over the place. They are suffering right now. And I'm not saying this to say, oh, look at them, ha, 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 ha. Hell no. Because guess what? I could be the next one out on my ass. So I got better sense than that. But I'm just telling you my observation. See, because these observations, these things that I look at and see, this is Yahweh giving me, Netherlands, this is what you don't do. You see how this person is doing over here? This is what you don't do. Pay attention, Netherlands, because I'm teaching you something. And if we're smart, we will realize that our lessons are our blessings. If we are smart, we will realize that the things that we see in life, the things that we experience in life are our navigational tools that will help us get through this gift of life joyfully, peacefully, honestly, earnestly, sincerely, happily, joyfully, all these things. If we take in these lessons, we don't have to wait until something happens to us and then we learn the lesson firsthand. We can look at other people, or maybe we could listen to other people. But see, right now we are in a place in society where you can't tell nobody nothing. And even if you do try to tell somebody something and they say they want to listen, all they want is, well, just tell me the meat and potatoes. I don't need to know the rest. No, don't give me any reading resources. Don't give me any references. No, just tell me what you did. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. 30 seconds, because that's my attention span. That's where we are today. People don't want to listen. They don't want to take in what has been going on since the beginning of time from those who have been through those things. Okay? What I'm saying is, I saw these young girls, and I don't remember what the name of the video was or anything, but these young girls were upset. They were like, why won't, if these older women who've been married for 30 and 40 and 50 years, if they are so successful, why won't they tell us what the secret is? Why won't they tell us what they did? Why? You know why? Because you all don't want to know. Not you all, but they don't want to know. They don't have time to listen. They don't want to listen. They don't want to know. And then when we tell these young girls what we did, how we got where we are, how we got the man that we needed that would take care of our home, our children, our households, and everything that's needed to run a household, and you be at home to be the administrator of everything that runs the household. When we try to tell these young girls this, they say, "Oh, you're just a slave. You just slaving away." No, I'm not slaving away because I make sure my husband got clean shirts, clean suits, and ties for work. You think that I'm a slave? Because I make sure that when he comes home from work, his dinner, and I am hot and ready for him. I'm a slave. Because when he says jump, I say how high, how long. I'm a slave. I'm not a slave. This is a partnership. This is a partnership. I don't even want to say it's a partnership because that sounds so. This is a relationship that includes a partnership. We are partners together. We work together. One hand washes the other. Okay? If I got his shirts and his ties and his suits clean, his lunch packed, his dinner and me hot and ready, that doesn't make me a slave. That makes me a partner in this relationship. He's not giving 50% and I'm not giving 50%, because if I'm giving 50 and he's giving 50, there's still another 50 that I got. Where is that going? There's still another 50 that he got. Where is that going? No. You give me 1,000%. You give me everything you got, and I'm going to give you everything I got. And if we are smart and we understand the business of reciprocity, not that you owe me something because I did something for you, because that's how people get into some trouble. Well, I did such and such and so for you, so now you need to do for me. If I got to tell you that you need to do something for me because, oh, I was going to pick you up. Oh, wait, I got to call him. Hold on, y'all. Hold on one second. Change your plans. Sorry. Change your plans. So anyway, doggone it, where was I? I'm sorry. A lot of us get in trouble with this thing of, well, I did this for you, so you should be doing this for me. No, it's called reciprocity. And reciprocity doesn't come with a caveat that says, well, because I did something for you, now you owe me. No. It's because you loved me, you cared about me so much. I really want to make sure that you have and you get everything that you need. I want to make sure that you're happy without you having to ask for anything. And that's the way it's supposed to be. Not that, well, I ironed your shirt, so now you need to rub my feet for the next hour and then go get me something to eat. If that person is not automatically compelled to do and to take care of you the way that you are compelled and want to take care of them, then there's a problem. There is a problem. So, but these younger girls were on this particular channel talking about why don't the older women tell them, how to get it done. But when we tell you all what it takes, you all don't want to do that because, not you all, but these young girls don't want to do that because society has etched something really ugly into the minds of younger people into thinking that a husband is nothing but a slave. He's supposed to be at your beck and call to make sure that you are comfortable. And no, baby, it's really the other way around. You're supposed to be at his beck and call. And if he loves you and cares about you because he respects you because you respect him so much and you give him the honor, the adoration, and all of that, he's going to make sure he's going to make sure that you have everything that you need, okay? But these young girls today, they are under the impression that a man is supposed to wait on them hand and foot. A man is supposed to spoil them. I don't want to say spoil, because there are men out here who spoil their women. And that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing as long as she is spoiling him too. Okay? Because I've seen it where the relationship is very one-sided, where the man is just doing all the giving and giving and giving and giving and giving, and the woman is just doing all the taking. It's got to be reciprocal. It's got to happen at both ends on both sides. Okay? And if the person you are with is not compelled to indulge you with reciprocity after what, the things that you have done to show them that, listen, I care about you. I want to make sure you have everything that you need when you walk out the door. Your lunch is packed, your suit is clean, your shirts are pressed, your ties are clean, your shoes are clean, If he is not as compelled as you are in caring for him, that's a one-sided relationship, and it may become a problem. Because one day, she's going to get tired of that, and she's going to be like, well, look, I do everything, but you never give me, you never do for me, you never, It's a give and take, is what it is. Now, let me say something about these relationships, and I see some of these people in. Some of the relationships that they've gotten out of, some of the relationships that they're in. I hear a lot of talk about women who have gotten out of relationships because the people that they were in a relationship with, the man was psychotic, bipolar. He was a narcissist. All these things. And so now the two of you are no longer together because these behaviors, because that's what they are, narcissists, bipolar, these are behaviors, okay? But we have these big $35 words to describe these behaviors. And now people are profiting and making money off of, pretty much every day learned and inbred behaviors, because these behaviors don't just jump into the air and then into and onto a person. These behaviors are taught, they're learned, okay? So for the narcissistic person, they probably grew up in a household where, nothing they did was wrong. Every little thing that they did, whether it was right or wrong, was championed and admired and coddled and regarded with the greatest of esteem. And now these parents have built this little monster who can do no wrong, and because the parents never corrected their behavior, little Johnny's shit never stinked, or stank, stinked. Little Johnny's doo-doo never stank or smelled. this is the monster that was created. You know, a parent who does not teach a child borders does not establish ground rules, right? And so you just have this child who's just doing whatever they want to do, when they want to do it, how they want to do it. They can do what they want to do. If they want to go here, they can go. If they don't want to go, they don't. You know, and these parents have not instilled in these children boundaries. And so now they're going through life without boundaries, without learning to establish the rules of engagement now that they are adults and they're grown and they've got some type of relationship going on. And so the same way they didn't experience boundaries and setting up the rules of engagement for a relationship, they get themselves into relationships where things aren't very pleasant. Things don't end well. Things don't go well. Things don't end well. And so the relationship ends. And what's left? But all the things that you feel when you are broken up, when you're left brokenhearted. Someone walked out on you. Someone left you. And you have all these emotions to deal with. And that's another issue in our society today, where people don't know how to process their emotions. Iyanla Vanzant said that there are many people who are socially retarded. That's what she said. I didn't say that. They don't know how to, socially retarded, emotionally retarded, because they don't know how to deal with their emotions. They don't know how to process interactions with other people that are their peers. They are really kind of lost, you know. But let me say something about a breakup. And I think all of us have been in a situation where someone broke up with us and it hurt us. And you have to go through all that you have to go through, you know, from cutting all the heads off of his pictures, burning his clothes, bleaching his clothes, you know, calling him all the worst possible things you can think of: stupid, ugly, narcissist, self-centered, conceited, dumb, stupid, not worth loving. You know, after we get finished with that, guess what? Then you got to deal with you. Then you got to deal with what you have left. Because guess what? That person most likely is going on with their life and they're not thinking very much about the person they hurt. They're going on with their life. And their friends may be telling you, oh, he's hurt. He hurting. He ain't hurting. They just want you to stay out of his life. They want you to think he's hurting just so that you leave him alone. Because maybe you have made a little bit of a nuisance out of yourself. You know, just running behind a man and asking a million questions and choosing my words carefully. This is the art of conversation, being able to speak without insulting the topic or the people I'm talking with. This is the art of conversation, and I'm doing my best to master it. Now, that doesn't mean that my words won't make somebody holler. What's that? That hit dog. The hit dog is gonna holler. You know, the one that got hit, the one that got hurt, the one that was affected is gonna holler. That doesn't mean I was being rude or condescending. That just means, well, they were convicted a little bit. Their heart was pricked a little bit with what I had to say. Just take the lesson. Just take the lesson, okay? because it is for us to use this gift of life. It is for us to use these lessons so that we learn how to maneuver through this gift of life in a peaceful, joyful, loving, honest, earnest, sincere, all those good things. We learn how to navigate this gift of life through the lessons that we learn. And if we're smart, we will realize that our blessings are not the material things in our lives. It's not the cars, it's not the clothes that you had made, it's not the house, it's not the boat, it's not the vacations, this, that, and the third. It's not all of these things. The gifts are the lessons you learn that show you how to maneuver this life in a peaceful manner. And you're not stuck in pain, in hurt, in despair, in distress because someone didn't do for you what you thought they were going to do for you. I have heard people use words like narcissist, bipolar, what's the other one? Psychotic, psychoses. I've heard all of these labels. But guess what? These labels don't mean a thing. These labels are just that. Because after you deal with the label, and you don't even have to deal with the labels because most people don't even know how to deal with the behaviors that the labels are speaking of. But once you finish bleaching his clothes, throwing his stuff down out the window and breaking everything and calling him every filthy, nasty, dirty word you possibly can, guess what? Then there's you. You have to deal with you. You have to deal with the emotions you are left with. And the question is, how are you going to do that? Because, I see a lot of people going through a whole lot of stuff and they're prolonging the process. I got to have on this lipstick before I do this. I got to have on these shoes before I do that. I got to have on this dress before I make a phone call. I got to be in this particular car before I go to the store. And I got to have this and I got to have all these different little minuscule, and I say minuscule on a scale of, 1 to nothing, what they mean in the grand scheme of a person's healing, of a person's well-being. I got to drink this particular water before I talk to you. I have to, wash my feet in rose oil before I all these different things. And guess what? Then there's you. You got all these things. You've acquired all these outside aesthetics and outside accoutrement, and then there's you. Then there's these feelings that you still have yet to deal with. Because guess what? A person can be a narcissist, but guess what? You let him in. A person can be bipolar, and you all had a very tumultuous and difficult relationship, but you let that person in. You allowed their behavior. It doesn't matter if a person is a narcissist. I think there's a little bit of a narcissist in all of us. Because if you know what a narcissist means, a narcissist is someone who does not accept their role, their portion in things that happen. It's always somebody else's fault. I think that exists a little bit in everybody. But I want to tell you, when it comes to me, I'd like to believe that I accept my role, and let me tell you why. If I trip and fall, I didn't trip and fall because I wasn't looking where I was going. I tripped and fell because Yahweh was trying to wake me up. This is my belief system. I believe Yahweh was trying to wake me up and say, you know what? You know what you did this morning? You shouldn't have done that. So I'm going to bust your ass for that. That's how I look at me. I'm not saying you need to do what I do, but I'm saying this is how I look at me. If I cut myself, it's not that I wasn't paying attention or the knife was too sharp. It was that Someone, not someone, but Yahweh was trying to get my attention on something. That's what I believe. That's my belief. That's what I think. Okay? And the point I'm trying to make here is that until we begin to accept our portion and our roles in things that happen in our lives, they're going to continue to repeat themselves. Because if these things continue to happen over and over and over and over and over again, I've heard people say, every relationship that I've been in was a narcissistic relationship. If every relationship that you have been in was a narcissistic relationship, or I take that back, if every relationship that you have been in, you were with a narcissist, guess what? There may be something that you need to address in you. Two things can be true at the same time. I did say there's a little bit of a narcissist in all of us. I do believe that. Present company not excluded. I believe that. But after breaking up with a narcissist, I don't think it serves... Hello. I don't think it's... okay. Was that on here? Oh, okay, that wasn't in the chat. That was in the comments. Okay, thank you, sis. I saw you, Kikuya. Queen, I know who I am. I saw you. Thank you. I'll read it when I get off of here. Okay, see, I lost my train of thought. I was talking about the narcissist. Oh, okay. So if you believe that every relationship you have been in was a narcissistic, the person you were with was a narcissist, and then you begin delving into, the books about narcissists or the videos about narcissists or the podcasts about narcissists, okay. You have an understanding as to what a narcissist might do, what the behavior is like, okay. You got a good, clear definition of what the narcissistic behavior is like. But whether you knew what a narcissist was or not, you knew this person was treating you in a way that you didn't like, in a way that you felt like, this don't feel good. This doesn't feel right. I don't like how I feel sometimes when I'm around this person. They don't make me feel safe. I don't feel protected or safe around this person. And if every relationship that you have been in has been that type of relationship, what does that say about the person that's been in that type of relationship in every single relationship? What does that say? I see a lot of people who will, not a lot, I see a few people who will say, oh, everything's great, everything's wonderful, everything's fine, oh, everything's beautiful, oh, everything is wonderful. And then give it a day or two, a week or so, and everything's terrible. Then they get to the next week and everything's beautiful, wonderful, it's all roses, flowers, and rainbows, Give it another week or a month and everything is terrible again. It's all bad. Were you being honest the first time? Were you trying to convince yourself and others that everything was okay, but you knew it wasn't? That's not beneficial to the person who does that. That is not beneficial to the person who does that. You're telling everybody everything is okay, but you know it's not. You're telling everybody everything is okay, and you know you don't feel right or protected around this man that is supposed to be your significant other. And you allowed this person and all their nasty habits and behaviors to stick around. You allowed this person to stand in your life. So I don't know if it was a matter of not wanting to be lonely, not wanting to be alone. I don't know if you felt like, well, gee, if this person doesn't want to be with me, I don't know who's going to be with me, and I don't want to be in this world. I don't know what it was. But you have to figure out what's more important. I'll tell you if you don't know. Your first responsibility is to you. What do they tell you on the airplane? If something happens, do you put the air mask on you or do you put the air mask on the child? You put the air mask on you first, because if you can't breathe, you can't help the child. You put your mask on first. Make sure you're good. Then you can help your child. Then you can help your baby. Then you can help the person next to you. But if you're not breathing, if you're not well, if you're not whole, your first responsibility is to you and your health and your wealth. That's your first responsibility, is to take care of this gift, this temple, this body, this mind, this spirit. It is your responsibility. And if you allowed the foolishness in, if you allowed the bullshit in, whose fault is that? You allowed it. Enabling. I'm sure everyone has heard that term before. Being the enabler of said behavior. There comes a time when you got to kick them out. Whether it's your kids, the person that's supposed to be your significant other, there comes a time when, wow, you know what? I don't like how I feel here. And I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful for where I am in my life because of a couple of things. Like I said, if I trip and fall, it's not because one side of the curb was too high or too low or pavement was uneven. Yahweh was trying to get my attention. That's what I think. I always think it's me. It's me, not you. It's me. And I think that's a gift for me to think that way. Because then I'm more cognizant of, wow, what did I do this morning? What did I do yesterday? Did I say something I shouldn't have said to my husband? Was I rude? Was I mean? Is Yahweh trying to get my attention for some reason? You know, and I have to, you know, kind of take into account what has happened over the last few days or so, you know? And it just keeps me in check. Because that's how I feel. That's how I think. And again, I'm not telling anybody they need to feel or think or do what I do. I'm just saying, I feel like that's a gift for me. It keeps me in check. Did I do something wrong? Did I say something wrong? I'm being considerate and empathetic towards someone else and how they may have felt in something I may have said or done. Let me tell you something. I am doing my very best. Okay? Because I'm sure I have more years behind me than I do in front of me, okay? But I'm doing my very best to make sure I don't go to hell. Because I don't want to go to hell. I want to make it to heaven. But here's another fact. I don't want to come back here either. And as it would be, where we are right now is a place between heaven and hell, okay? And I think that, sometimes I think that, let me just put it all on me. I think that I was sent here because I did something in a previous life, and I didn't quite get it right, but I wasn't so bad that Yahweh would send me to hell. But I needed some more work before I could make it to heaven. That's the way I see it. So I was sent here. And like I said, I don't want to go to hell, but I definitely don't want to come back here. Don't get me wrong. I love my life. I love my husband, my family, my children, my grandchildren. I love and cherish this life. It's been a wonderful gift for me. I have no complaints. My cup runneth over. I have no complaints. But when you look around at the world, I would not want to come back here. What if I was born into a family that was abusive in the most horrific ways? You know, I watch these crime channels on YouTube, and the things that these people are doing to children. Oh. the things that are happening to babies, the things that are happening to little children, the things that are happening to women, I don't want to come back here. I don't want to go to hell, but I don't want to come back here. So I'm doing my very best to make sure. That's a seat. That's a seat right there. You see, that's a seat. That's a whole seat. This is what I've been doing. Have a seat. That's what I've been doing. Staying out the way. That's what I've been doing. Minding my own business. That's what I've been doing. Yahweh sees all, knows all. And some people play with him and act like he don't see. And then they think they can, pay lip service to him, and say things that they think he wants to hear, and everything's going to be okay. Oh, you can pay him all the lip service you want, but he knows what you did back there in the dark. He knows what you did when you had the camera turned off and nobody else saw but him. Always watching, always listening. I don't want to go to hell, but I don't want to come back here either. Imagine coming back here and being stuck with a family that abuses children in every nasty, filthy, horrific way you wouldn't even want to think of. We're supposed to share Yahweh's word, but I'm not always inclined to do so because people don't want to listen. People don't want to hear. People don't want to know. And that's unfortunate because guess what? Life is only going to get harder and harder and harder for them. When you follow his will, his word, and his way, and I'm not saying that I do 100%, but I'm doing the best I can. And the best way for me to do that is to stay out the way, have a seat, and mind my own goddamn business. Now, I did not take Yahweh's name in vain, but y'all, some people call him God, but you know what? I don't want to I'm still trying to remember the art of conversation. Someone else might call him God. So, okay. So if that's what you call him and I disrespected the name, I'm sorry. I apologize. But I don't call him a backwards dog. Listen. Some of the things in the Bible I just can't get with. Yahweh is not a backwards dog. Yeshua is not an earth pig. If you look up the Latin meaning of Jesus, Jesus means earth pig. I can't call my Lord and Savior an earth pig, so I can't call him Jesus. That means earth pig. God spelled backwards is a dog. And I know how these people play on words and how they do things, So I don't call him God. I don't call him Jesus, Yahweh, for God. Yeshua HaMashiach, for Jesus. Adonai, King. Elohim. These are the names I have for him. So if I offended anybody by saying God damn it, I do apologize. Okay? Moving forward. So anyway, see what I mean? Trying to be cognizant and empathetic to how others feel. Trying to remember the art of conversation and remembering that when you speak to people, you don't want to insult the topic or the person you're talking with. I'm really working at it. I really am. And when I don't feel like I can do that, I just don't come here. And as I said, a lot of times people don't even want to listen. They don't want to spend the time. They don't want to actually do the work. And I don't want to waste my time telling you about the work and then you don't do it. I'll tell you the resources, where you can find the resources. And if you want to investigate, you go ahead and do it. But I'm not going to hold your hand while you do it. You got to want to do it because you want to do it. Not because someone held your hand and led you along the path. But you did it because you wanted to do it. See, and then you have to know and have your why. Why do you want to know how to do this? Why do you want to know how to do that? Your why is what drives you. And you have to have your why. So it doesn't make sense if you don't even have a why for me to tell you how. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense. So I don't spend a lot of time talking about, whatever topics anymore, because here's the other thing that I learned. I don't come here as much anymore because guess what? When I think I know something, I find out I don't know anything. When I was on that vegan diet from 2009 up until 2020, I knew everything about nutrition and being healthy. So I thought, and I was wrong. And I've come here and I apologized many times for leading anybody into a vegan lifestyle because it is not sustainable, it is not healthy, it is detrimental to you being healthy and well, and especially if you are a woman about to go through the change of life. I'm talking about menopause, and that's another topic we should have a conversation about in and of itself. But if you're about to go through the change of life, you are going to need all and every bit and every ounce of your wherewithal to get through this thing called menopause. This is not the time. This is not the time to be getting on a restrictive diet such as menopause that's going to deprive you of the nutrition that you will so desperately need going through menopause. Okay? And anybody that's trying to convince you to be vegan and not eat meat, I would tell you two things. Number one, if you are a Yahweh-fearing person, consult your Bible first. Yahweh will tell you exactly what you can eat, what you're supposed to eat, and what you should not eat. But he also does say, the word also says, regardless of what a man decides to eat, it's nobody else's business. So if I'm a meat eater, that's not your business. If you're a vegan, that's not my business. But I'm just telling you, Yahweh laid it out in no uncertain terms how we were supposed to eat and what we were supposed to eat. Now, if you choose to do something else, that's all on you. If you end up sick and malnourished, if you don't study both sides of the coin, because I believe, when you partake in something, you should look at both sides of the coin. Okay? You should look at the good side and the bad side. What are the benefits? What are the negatives in becoming vegan and living in a vegan lifestyle? Okay? This is what you need to do. Consider the negatives and the positives. Excuse me. But I don't come to this platform very often anymore to give out advice because I certainly don't want to hurt anybody or be the cause of anybody not being, as healthy and, whole as possible. So I don't do that anymore. I don't do that. The best I can do is to take care of me and mine, and I have done that, and then when you see these people who are telling you, they want to be your relationship guru, they want to be your nutrition guru, ask to see the people that they helped, okay? I got two people I've helped. I've got three, actually, because my husband has almost lost 100 pounds. My daughter has lost 40 pounds. When I stopped being vegan, I just started eating, and I ate everything, and I ballooned back up to like 232 pounds. And I went from 232 to where I am now. I was 177 in the last video that I did, but now I'm 179.5. No problem. No problem. I know what I need to do, and I'm going to do it when I get ready to do it. But I'm 179.5 as of this morning. So I put on 2.5 pounds. I don't think that's such a bad thing. So I want to go back to what I was saying about, once you get finished burning his clothes and cussing him out, ripping up his pictures, once you're done with all of that, then it's time to deal with you. It's time to get you together. It's time to fortify who you are. And remember that your first responsibility is to you, your health and your wealth. And if you're for you, great. If someone else wants to step in and be alongside you and help you on that journey and you help them, wonderful. But at any time you don't feel protected and loved and cared for, you need to stop and say, you know what, listen, we need to have a talk, because right now this is how I feel and this is how I don't want to feel. And maybe you can give it another chance or two. And after that, it's, because it doesn't take years and years to figure out who a person is. You know who a person is after spending 6 months with them, all right, a year with them. And I think it could happen even quicker than that. I don't know. The older I get, the quicker I can pick up on the bullshit. I mean, I can see bullshit 10 clicks down the road. I can see the bullshit walking. And when I see it coming, I'm like, no. Listen, no. I'm going to walk over this way. I don't even want to look at you. No, you don't have to say anything. But I'm gonna need you to go this way, because I'm going that way. And our paths shall never meet. I can see the bullshit walking 10 clicks out. I promise you I can. I know who you are. I've seen you before. Okay? And it's like the older I get, the quicker I pick up on it. But I see for some people, as they progress in age, I don't know. You think some people should know certain things and they don't. And that might just be from being sheltered and I don't know. It comes from, I think, from being sheltered and not being taught the ground rules of engagement, whether it's a friendship, platonic, or romantic. We've not been taught. Some of us have not been taught these things. And so as we progress and get older, it still never changes. Some people just don't understand, the navigating, the moving in and out and through a relationship, because there's an ebb and a flow. There's always an ebb and a flow in a relationship, a friendship, platonic and or romantic. There's always an ebb and a flow. And certain things you can ride out together, and certain things you just shouldn't put up with. You should not tolerate. But like I said, once the pictures are cut up and you done cursed him out and called him every name in the book and, thrown all this stuff in the trash can and burned his stuff and whatever, you need to do. Once that's over, you have to deal with you. Why did I allow this person to stay in my life so long? Because I was afraid of being alone. I was afraid of being lonely. Well, you need to work on being comfortable when you're by yourself. And I'm not trying to brag, but I just want to let you know. By myself with my husband, by myself with my kids, by myself with my grandkids, by myself or with friends, I am comfortable. I told one of my girlfriends that I had gone to dinner one day, or to lunch by myself. I don't think I've ever been to dinner by myself. But I had gone to lunch. And she was like, you went to lunch by yourself? And I mean, she was talking like I had just burned the Bible, down on Main Avenue or something. She was like, you went to lunch by yourself? She was like, I could never do that. And I'm like, why? I love to sit and watch people. I like to look at the couple that's not looking at their phone and they're completely engaged and enraptured with each other. I like to see the different foods that come out, the aromas, the fragrances, you know, how people talk and engage with each other. And then I like to look at the couple over here and both of them are looking at their phones and I'm like, why are they even out together? I don't get it. I mean, it's an anomaly to me. It's an enigma. Y'all came out together and y'all both on the phone and y'all not even talk. Really? How y'all doing that? You know, I'm going to tell you what broke my heart as a child. I'm standing on the corner waiting for the light to change. And there's a guy coming from this direction and a lady coming from this direction. And I know they're about to intersect each other's path. And she was a nice looking lady and he was a nice looking guy. And so when they came to where I knew they were going to, you know, meet and cross, I was just like listening because I'm knowing he's going to say something to her, right? He said absolutely nothing to this woman. And she said nothing to him. I was like, I know he saw her, she saw him. They didn't even speak. What? Huh? Why the man didn't say hi? Why he didn't, why they, I was so hurt. I was so broken. As a teenager, walking down the street, okay, I was a cute little thing, okay? And it was expected. I'd walk down the street and some guy would drive past me and say, hey, shawty, can I go with you? And I'd be like, nope. He'd be like, come on, girl. I'm like, what you want, boy? You know, those were the days when we spoke to each other. She got hit by a hot dog. Oh, my Lord. It was traumatizing. But anyway, I was so hurt that this couple, these two people, they weren't a couple. He was coming this way, she was coming that way, and I just knew he was going to say something. You know, hi, how are you? Nice day. Can I have your number? But, you know, this was a white couple, you know. And I know they don't talk like, you know, black people do. But I thought something, anything, nothing. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And it's like it just happened yesterday. Because I'm still like, why did that man not speak to that beautiful woman? I couldn't understand. I'm still in a quandary about that, you know? Why didn't he say something to her? You know, and like I said, I walked down the street and, you know, some guy, hey, shorty, can I get your number? Nope. Girl, you better come over. Nope. Girl, you look good in them jeans, though. Can I get your mathematics? You got something to write on? You know, it's just, that was such, I mean, about 3 weeks ago, I'm outside again, watering, you know, the grass, the plants, the flowers, everything. And the last time this happened, before this time I'm getting ready to tell you about, this guy rides by and he says, hey, Miss Parker. And I said, you better not finish that sentence. He just smiled. I said, you better not finish that sentence, young man. I let him know I'm not your contemporary. I am your senior. But anyway, this guy rides past the house, and I'm out there watering, doing my thing, and he hollers out the window, and he's taking his sweet time about riding down the street, and there's people behind him, you know. And I know they're mad because he's poking along, looking at me, talking about, look at God. I said, oh my gosh, thank you. I said, you just made an old lady's day. I'm trying to let these people know. I'm an old lady. I don't know what you're seeing from a distance because maybe you don't see good. I am beautiful. I am beautiful. I am. This I know. But I want you to know I'm not as young as you think I am. And I'm not trying to act like I'm your contemporary, because I know this guy, he might have been maybe 10, 20 years younger than me, right? And he said it again. He said, look at God. Look at God. And I'm just saying, you know what? You just made my day. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are so kind. Thank you. But when I was younger, it was really something to have a guy acknowledge you and speak to you. And today, I look at these young children, they don't even speak to each other. Yesterday, a man did me like this. I have never had a man do me like that. He had on a hat and smiled. How are you today? I said, thank you, sir. I am well, sir. Thank you. I called him sir and everything. He did me like that with his hat. And you know, this cat was from my era, if not older. Okay? But he did me like that. I was so enamored. But I got a husband, too. But anyway, our young folks won't even speak to each other. They walk right past each other. They won't even speak to each other. There's something going on. I see young boys walking around with backpacks that's got little stuffed animals hanging off the backpacks, and they are 15, 16 years old plus, you know, with little plushy toys hanging off their backpack. Following behind another group of people that do things in another way, that really our grandparents, our great-great-grandparents would say, put him in the bed, get some ice on his head. He's sick right now. Let him rest for a while. He's sick right now. Anyway, we can call the men that we break up with everything in the book, but then there's you. How are you going to deal with what you allowed into your life? That behavior he exhibited in front of you that made you feel so bad, so uncomfortable, so unloved, so unprotected. How? That's a question. Those are the questions I'd be asking myself. How did I let this happen? Why did I let this happen? But I've gotten to the point where I skip the how and the why, and I go straight to, you know what? It's my fault. It's my fault that I'm hurt right now. Okay? It don't have nothing to do with the type of, well, no, I don't want to say that. Let me say it this way. When I look at it as I allowed that. I saw this behavior and I let this behavior go. I didn't say anything. I didn't make a big deal about it. I just let it go. Now every now and then we get into a little tiff, a little fuss, you know, a little argument or something, right? But then it was, oh, kissy, kissy, I'm sorry, I love you, I won't do it again. And then they come back with the same behaviors, doing the same thing all over again. And what do they say about mental illness? Mental illness is when you keep doing the same things over and over again, but you expect a different result. They call that mental illness. And for me to keep allowing someone to do the same hurtful and mean things to me, that says something about me. I have to rein in, you know, my emotions. Not necessarily rein in my emotions, but I have to check my rules of engagement. Let's put it that way. You know, what are the rules of engagement for me? Let me tell you something. When I was dating, if a man said he was going to pick me up at 6 o'clock, and if he wasn't there by 5:55 or 6 o'clock, I wouldn't go out with him. And he would stand there ringing the doorbell a couple of times, cuss me out. Girl, I'm only 5 minutes late. What's wrong with you? First of all, why are you speaking to me that way? This is our very first day, and you talking to me like that? We already got a problem. You know, sometimes they would call me back and be like, I'm really sorry, but I had something, I was late, and this happened, and that. Look, if you want to go out with me, and I mean that much to you, if you're that excited, and you should be, and you don't think it's important for you to get here early or on time, we got a problem right out the gate. This is a problem. This is not going to work. So you nip it in the bud early. I don't give a dang how cute you are. I don't give a dang how fine you are. I don't care about the girls running down the street behind you when they see you. I don't care. You're late. That means you think you can, who knows what. Okay? And I'm not up for it. I'm not going to deal with that. I refuse to engage in your behavior. My pastor used to say, if you're on time, he'd say if you're late, no. If you're early, you're on time. And if you're on time, you're late. That's what he used to say. If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. If that man asks you out on a date, first of all, he should be sending you a card and some flowers or a gift, a little candy or something before your date. He's asked you out, but before the date gets here, and you don't just go out the next day with a man. Okay? I met you today and you want me to go somewhere with you tomorrow? No. Next week. I'm busy. I have other engagements. And if he's really interested, he'll wait. He will wait. And before that date gets here, he should have sent you some flowers, candy. Now, how do I know this? Because this is the way my husband treated me when I dated him. I got a card, I got flowers before the date, my first date with him. Looking forward to spending time with you. Next Friday, I'll be there at 6 to pick you up. After the date, I got a card. I got flowers. Thank you for our date. My husband didn't get no cookie for 9 months. Almost a year. I'd kiss him. We'd fool around, but he wasn't getting no cookie. Not for 9 months. I held out. Those are my rules for engagement. Every woman should have her rules for engagement. And unfortunately, some of these rules out here for some of these women is, wow. You meet a man in the club and 5 minutes later, y'all in the bathroom. Of all places. How disgusting. How nasty. And the way some women choose to dress in front of men in public. And this is another reason why I don't give out any advice. Because when I look at so many people and the way that they go out the house dressed, I'm like, you know what? There's nothing I can say to a person like that. They would tell me to kick rocks or worse. I couldn't say anything to a person like that. No, I couldn't. I went to the store the other day. There was a couple. He had on some black Jordans, some black jeans, and a black jersey. She had on some black Jordans and a black jersey. I said she had on a pair of Jordans, some tennis shoes, and a jersey. I didn't say she had on pants. I didn't say she had on shorts. I didn't say she had on a skirt or a dress. I said she had on some Jordan tennis shoes and a jersey. The jersey she had on came up to here. I didn't say she had on shorts, pants, a dress, or a skirt. I didn't say that. I didn't even say she had on underwear. pair of tennis shoes and a jersey that came midway the crack of her ass. The front was covered by the front of the shirt, but she had little junk in her trunk, so that shirt rose up a bit. Anybody walking by could see the split. I wanted to post that video so bad. I actually videoed it. And I can't. I won't show it. But I don't know where a lot of you live, but there's a really dangerous trend going on, and it involves mothers and their daughters, and mothers who have daughters who allow their daughters to go out with a long t-shirt and no drawers, or they have on drawers underneath, and they're out in public with all their booty meat hanging out, walking next to their mama. How can you let your daughter, what kind of person, male or female, would let their daughter walk out the house that way? I don't know who that guy was to that girl that was in the grocery store. I don't know if that was her brother, her uncle, her cousin, her boyfriend. I don't know who it was. But I don't know how he let her go out to the store looking like that. I'd had to call Big Mama or somebody. Big Mama, I need you to get over here right now. It's a code 5. No, Big Mama, code 5. Come over now. Bring the pistol. No. What kind of man would let a woman walk out the house like that? Brother, cousin, uncle, boyfriend, husband? That, you know, if it was her boyfriend or her husband, that's a man who wants to show people, see, I got myself a baddie. She bad, ain't she? She look good, don't she? You know, she got junk in her trunk. She cute in the face, little in the waist. She bad, ain't she? Okay, she might be all what you say is bad, but why are you putting that on display for somebody else to see? That's for you and for you only, if she's your wife. That should be for you and you only. But trust and believe she's going to have problems with that man, because if in fact she got him ass out, she met him with her ass out, guess what? If that's what keeps him, it will be so easy for his head to be turned with the next woman that walks by ass out. He's not going to be faithful to her. The next woman that walks by ass out, he going to be all in the cheeks. Trust me when I tell you. If you're healing from a breakup, if you're healing from a bad relationship, the best thing you can do is to go and figure out what was your portion, what was your part. Stop saying he's this, he was that, you know. And here's the other part about breaking up. You know, some people think they're over a man, you know, but as long as you're saying things like, you know, he'll never be happy, he'll never have anybody like me, he'll never have this, he'll never have that, you're not healed. You're not whole. You are not healed. You're healed when you can look at this man or hear this man's name and be like, who? Oh, yeah, him. Oh, someone hurt him? Oh, wow, that's too bad. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to keep going. I'm on my way to the store. See ya. You're healed when you don't wish this person any type of negativity, any type of ill will. You're healed. It's like that movie Tyler Perry did where she had an abusive husband. He was cheating on her and just treating her in the worst kind of way. and I think he was abusing her, beating on her, or something like that. But he got into a car accident and wasn't able to walk. And guess what? She went over there and she took care of him. She nursed him back to health. He fell in the bathtub and was about to drown, and she said everything she had to say to him just before he drowned, and then pulled his ass out. But she cooked for him, she cleaned for him, did everything she could to take care of him. And then he decides he wants to propose again, marry her again after he had a child with another woman, left her, put her out of her house over this woman. And he decided he wanted to propose again. And she told him, look, you had your chance. You were the one, but you didn't want to be the one. Now I found somebody who really wants to be with me, and it ain't you. Bye, boy. But she took care of him. She took care of him. That's a healed woman. That is a healed woman. She took care of him. She had no bitterness towards him. She wished him no ill will. She wanted to see him whole, healthy, and well, just like anybody else she wanted, that was in her life. And she took care of him. But she let him know, not again. Not you. Not ever. What do they say? Yahweh will send you enough bad men to let you know when you finally got a good one. But there's work to be done after a breakup, and that work is to figure out, why did I allow this person to treat me like this for so long? Why did I stay? Why did I stick around? And work on those components in you. You can watch all the documentaries and read all the books that you want to about the type of behavior that he or she exhibited, but guess what? There's still you. You allowed the behavior. What is it in you that allowed that behavior, allowed that person to stick around and to continue to do what it was they were doing? What was it in you? You have to fix you. Okay, they gone now. Let them be. That's a lesson learned on what you don't want. Now, going forward, the lesson is, why did I feel like I should have had this in my life? Why do I feel like I should have allowed this person to do and live in my life the way that they were doing and the way that they were living? Why? And you need to work on that. So if you have an issue with being alone, you need to learn how to be alone and comfortable. Like I was saying earlier, I can go to a restaurant and have lunch by myself and be so happy. Just to sit there and watch people engage with one another and enjoy the aromas and the food and everything that's, there. I'm perfectly comfortable. And my girlfriend is looking at me like, I've got a chair growing out of my forehead. And I'm like, well, what the heck is wrong with you? Why can't you go be at a restaurant? And, she said, I think people would be looking at me like, oh, she can't even get a date. And when she said that, I was like, wow. Is that what people think of me when I come and sit by myself and I'm alone in the restaurant? Is that what they think? Okay. People can think what they want. And see, that's another thing. You might be so worried about what you think people think about you because you don't have a man and an arm of a man to hold on to as you walk in the door. You got to be comfortable walking in that door and strutting yourself by yourself. And listen, I am the last person to tell you, I would never tell you, it's better for you to be alone. We've been given all the colloquialisms, all the monikers. I can do bad by myself. Anything a man can get for me, I can get for myself. You have to remember the plot, the twist, the plan, the scheme that has been laid against us so that we end up alone and by ourselves. there is a lot of work to be undone in our community, because we've got so many people being paid to speak against us and us being together. But I applaud all of those who have stuck it out and stick together, stay together. Stick to your own tribe. That's the way it should be. That's no hate for nobody. I'm just saying, we have our tribes and we should stay in our tribes. We should take care of us first. And if everybody is taking care of their own first, we should all be good. We should all be happy, because there's plenty of room for everybody to live and to love and to be happy. There's plenty of room for everybody to do just what they need to do. It's hot in here. There is enough. And like I said, once you are done grieving through the process of a breakup, it's time to work on you. Why do you feel the way you do when you're not with someone else? Why do you feel so low and so lonely when you are by yourself? What are you doing so that you don't feel alone and lonely? Because sitting at home talking to the dogs is not going to bring you any closer to a relationship that you would want to have. You've got to get out. You've got to learn to maneuver through people and this world, and keep your rules of engagement intact under no uncertain terms, while still respecting everybody else. Okay? And I'm not saying you have to respect everything that everybody else does, because some people out here are doing some shit. They really are. Okay? But if you over here doing some messed up stuff, okay, you be over here. Matter of fact, where you gonna be? You gonna be right here? Okay, so I'm and I don't need to tell you where I'm gonna be. But if this person is gonna be here and they're doing things that you know don't line up with what you do and how you live, well then you go be over here. Just stay out of the way. Mind your own. You know, there are people who are just so miserable. You know, with the man down the street, the lady across the way. This one make me mad. This one makes me sick. This one is trying to do this to me. This one is trying to do that. Oh my goodness. And there are people who are just never, ever happy with much of anything. All I can say is, if every day you get up and you complain about this person, that person, you complain about this situation, that situation, and most of your life is spent just finding fault and complaining about people you don't even know, who really probably don't. But if you oh, okay, all right. Wow, that was quick. Okay, so if that's the type of life a person is living, where everyone is wrong, everything is wrong, everything makes them angry, you know, people who don't bother them. All I can say is this: if all you do is complain down here, but you claim that Yahweh is your Lord and Savior, and you can't get into heaven unless you proclaim He's your Lord and Savior. It takes more than proclaiming Yeshua HaMashiach as your Lord and Savior. It takes way more than that. But if you think that being down here and just complaining, groaning and moaning and complaining day in and day out is going to earn you a ticket into heaven, you are sadly mistaken. Because there are people who pay Yahweh a lot of lip service. They don't realize that other people see what they don't want us to see. We see you. We see what you're doing. We see who you are. We see how you act. We see how you conduct yourself when you're out and about. And if we see it, you should know Yahweh sees that behavior too. Yahweh is not going to have Debbie Downer up in heaven. He's not going to have it. You might get sent back down here. It might not have been bad enough for you to go to hell, but you might come down here and be in some crazy abusive family. You can claim him to be your Lord and Savior all you want to, but if you are not living right down here and you just complain about everything, do you think Yahweh wants that type of energy in heaven? Because I can see some of these people I'm speaking of now. They make it to heaven and they're just up there complaining. Oh, child, did you see how they was acting down there on earth? Oh, and they was doing this and they was saying that and they was doing this and they was saying that. Meanwhile, you got the pearly gates going on. You got the heavenly angels singing. You got the sun shining 24/7. You got the cool breezes blowing, the flowers, and all these beautiful things surrounding you. And all you can talk about was that past life, that previous life, and how bad it was. You're going to get kicked out or not make it at all. That's what I think. I think people are going to get kicked out or not make it at all. Yahweh's not going to allow that up there. Heaven's supposed to be a beautiful and peaceful place, not a place where people come and talk about how things were so bad in the world he created for us in the first place. There is so much beauty, there is so much peace, there is so much love and joy right here. And I don't understand how people don't see it or feel it each and every day. And I feel for people who don't see the beauty, who don't feel joyful, peaceful, happy. I feel for those people because, wow, I couldn't imagine being here without it. I see beauty, I see peace, love, and joy every day. I open my eyes, I see it, and I give thanks for it. Yahweh created this place for us. And if you couldn't find the beauty, the peace, the joy, the love, the elation, if you couldn't find it, if you couldn't create it yourself, he gave us everything that we need. But that's part of the problem also. People want more than what's needed. People want more than what's needed. Do you have everything you need? Do you have some food? Do you have a roof over your head? Do you have clothes on your back, shoes on your feet, food on your table, a little finance in your pocket? And do you have love in your heart? What else do you need? Why do people think that they got to come to YouTube and have 1 million subscribers in order to be happy? Some people just want to see the number. Okay, well, go get a piece of paper and write down your name and 1 million subscribers. And if you don't like your handwriting, they got thousands of fonts. Print it out on a piece of paper. 1 million subscribers. Frame it and put it on the wall. Make it pretty. That's all you want to see. And people will come here and count their chips in public. I say chips because I saw it on, what was the movie? Home Alone 2. And the little boy was in New York. And the bellman was at the front desk counting his tips. And the manager says to him, I think he hits him and he says, "Don't count your chips in public. It's rude." You know, wait till you get home and count your money, right? But people put a great deal of emphasis on things that don't even matter. Things that they don't need. Yahweh has given you so much. So much. And so many people are so engaged and so fixated on things that don't even matter. And actually praying to Yahweh, asking him, to bless them with these things that don't matter. Oh my goodness, don't they got the nerve? Asking Yahweh to bless you with a few more toothpicks, a few more pencils. I'm collecting pencils. All I need is 100 more pencils. Do these pencils matter? Do you actually need 100 pencils? Do you need 10,000 pencils? Hey. Yahweh has given us everything that we need to be happy and to live well. There's this documentary, and it talks about African Americans going to Ghana to live. And one of the people in the documentary was Ghanaian, and he says, "I don't understand you people. You know, I'm trying to go to America, and here you all people." He says, "I'm trying to." No, she said, it was a woman. She said, "I'm trying to leave here, and you all keep coming. I don't understand. I'm trying to get out of here, and you all are coming. Why are you all coming here? You know, I'm trying to leave, and here you all come." I'm like, but y'all have everything over there. You got fertile land. You just throw seeds on the ground and stuff grows. Here in Baltimore, we can't get nothing to grow. I won't say Baltimore, but me and a few of my neighbors, we can't get anything to grow out here. They just drop stuff on the ground in Ghana and they got food. You know, most people work so they can have food. Most people work so that they can have a roof over their head. And you have so many carpenters and people who are just so crafty with their hands. I'm like, build your own home. You can grow your own food. You know, I don't understand. Y'all got every resource you need right there in Ghana. Why are you trying to leave? You know, the HOA says I can't have, well, I don't have an HOA, but in many neighborhoods, an HOA tells people you can't have chickens. You can't have a cow or a few goats in your backyard. You can't do that. They can do that. There's your food. You know, there are people living in Ghana right now complaining about the fact that they have these rolling blackouts. But they're more concerned about getting the red bottom shoes, the Louboutin shoes, when your focus should be on a generator, a generator, some solar panels. If you know there's rolling blackouts and you're losing money or wasting food because you wasted money on some food because the food went bad because your electricity was off for a week. Yahweh tells us to plan and prepare. You plant your trees and your fruit trees and your food before you move onto your land and build your land. This is what he tells us to do. But people are more concerned about acquiring, some expensive car. A house that has, bedrooms that are 24 feet by 24 feet. And that's true, too. In some of those African countries, the bedrooms are huge, 24 by 24. It's like it's going to take you 10 minutes to walk from your bed to the bathroom. Why? Anyway. The rules of engagement are very important in your happiness and your relationships with the people you choose to have a relationship with. Friendship, relationship, platonic, romantic, whatever. The rules of engagement, you have to set them. If you set the rules of engagement and say, look, if you don't show up on time, I'm not going. You don't have to tell him that. But if a man asks me out and says he's going to be here at 6 o'clock and he gets here at 6:10, 6:05, I'm not opening the door. We're not going anywhere. You can call me this week. You can call me next week. Maybe in 30 days you could call me again and I might agree to go out with you again. And again, on the energy that you don't show up late again. I don't care if it was 2 minutes. You were late. You didn't value me enough to be here early. You didn't value me enough to be on time. No, I'm not going out with you. Start nipping stuff in the bud. A man that wants to be with you, oh my gosh, he's probably sleeping in the backyard, the night before to make sure that he's there on time. He doesn't want to miss out on you. He's sending you cards, candies, and flowers before your date and after your date. I guess some women don't know what to expect or how to be treated, but that's a portion of it. That's a piece of it. Honoring you and your time. Showing you that he's very mindful and respectful of you and what you do and what you like, what would appease and make you happy. That's what he's going to do for you. If he really wants to be with you. It's not going to be hard to figure out that a man is toying with you and playing with you. And when I tell you, you have got to set the rules of engagement for your relationships, and you don't, and then you're back and you're talking about, he was a sociopath, he was this, he was that, but then there's still you. What did you do? What did you allow to happen betwixt the two of you? What did you allow? And sometimes when me and my husband be fussing and fighting, I'm like, you know what? I don't have nobody to blame but myself, because I told you, I asked you, and you went ahead and you did the same thing again after I asked you. It's my fault. It's my fault. Because I let you, it's my fault. And you have to decide what kind of behaviors you're going to stick around for and what behaviors are a deal breaker. You can sit around, you can watch all the documentaries and the podcasts about, this behavior and, all these things. But then there's you, period. Then there is you. I'm just sitting here, as I said, I do my best to be cognizant of the things that I say, and I'm just kind of juggling some things back and forth, and, I'm not trying to hurt anybody, but hit dogs will holler. They gonna holler. Watch and see what I tell you. They're gonna holler. But it's okay, because I have helped some people on this platform, and things were really good in the beginning, but the moment I said something that didn't line up with them feeling the warm and fuzzies from me, then I wasn't shit no more, and hey, cool, whatever. Trying to give them a heads up, that might not work out. You might want to look this way instead of that way, looking out. And they were very grateful and appreciative in the beginning. And see, this is some of the karma coming to bite back in the butt. Being rude when help was being offered. But that's another thing, help. Being helpy helperton. Helping and doing, especially when you weren't asked. Trying to be a martyr and then being upset and mad because no one appreciated your martyrdom. I've seen people come to this platform and get upset and mad because nobody was donating to their channel. Donating for what? Exactly. Donating for what? If you decide you want to come here and talk about how to keep your toenails clean, that was your choice. That's what you decided to talk about. No one owes you anything because now you are in need and you feel like somebody should be donating something for you. No one asked you to be the guinea pig. No one asked you to be the lab rat. Why would you? Do you know what they do to lab rats? Do you know what they do to guinea pigs? In the name of medicine, health, and healing. Do you know what they do? How badly these animals are. Why would you want that for yourself? I'm sorry. I am not going to be anybody's lab rat or guinea pig. I am not going to be your social project. I am not going to be your science experiment. Why? For what? A big N and a little O. No. Ooh. Okay. Oh my God. All right. That's a heck of a title for a video. Anyway. But yeah. Because you decided to offer your help, your assistance, and what you thought was your vision or insight into a particular topic, and then you're mad because people aren't donating or giving or watching and viewing your channel. And then you're telling people how to watch, how to view your channel. You know, I'm embarrassed for some of these people here on the platform. I'm embarrassed for the people who are saying things like, I don't understand why you all aren't donating. You should be donating. I have given so much of myself. I've given so much of my time. I've given my information. I put myself out here. I've been the guinea pig. I've been the lab rat. I feel so bad when I hear people say things like this because someone said it to me once. I didn't ask you to do that. You did what you wanted to do because that's what you wanted to do. Someone said that to me and I took it as being very rude. And today I still see it as being very rude. You know? But I wasn't expecting anything in return. What that person said to me was rude. I offered to stick up and to go to bat for this person. And they told me, I didn't ask you to do that. You did it because you wanted to. How rude. It's like, you know, you fall down in the street and I help pick you up so that you don't get run over by the next car, and you tell me, I don't need to tell you thank you. You did what you did because you wanted to. How rude. That's rude. That's rude. But then to turn around and also say, well, I don't understand why you're not donating money to my channel. I don't know why you won't watch my video this way. It's only, 20 seconds long. It's only this and I'm only that and I'm just trying to do this and I'm trying to, and because of all these things, because I'm just trying to and it's only this and it's only that and I'm trying and you don't, watch my video the way that I want you to watch it. You get mad, you get upset. I feel so bad for these people who feel this way. My pastor always told me, nobody in life owes you a blessed thing. But when they do something nice for you, it's really nice. And it's a surprise because you're not, first of all, you shouldn't be expecting anything. Because you did what you thought was something nice. You should not be expecting anything in return. Not a view, not a dollar, not a thank you, not a boo, not a fuck you, nothing. You shouldn't be expecting anything from anybody. Because again, this was your plan, your idea, this is what you wanted to do. It was my choice to come here and watch your channel. But I don't have to do any more than that. And I don't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I say I feel so bad for these people because they really feel like somebody owes them something because they came to the platform and did or said something. It's only 10 seconds. It's only 20 seconds. It's only $1. And if each one of you gave me $1, I would have what I need. Whew. The level of entitlement. I'm entitled to your pocket because I exist. That's where we are today. I am entitled to your pocket merely because I exist. I need your money, I need your time, I need your attention because I exist. This is the world we live in today. And I have to tell you, it's a very selfish place where someone believes that someone owes them something, and I got to get ready to go downstairs because I got something I got to do. But they believe that someone owes them something just because they're here. Hold on, excuse me 1 second. Nobody owes anybody anything. And if you go through life with that attitude, I think I think people would be a lot happier. Because if you believe nobody owes you anything, you're not expecting anything. But when you finally get something, it's like, oh wow, I wasn't expecting this, but hey, look, this is really nice. Someone made me a pair of socks. Oh, this is really nice. Somebody donated, $100. This is really nice. Don't expect anything. So when you finally do get something, it's a surprise, and just because you weren't expecting anything, it makes it all the better. Whew. A lot of us would be a lot happier if we lived and governed our lives that way, where you don't expect a thing. I think a lot of us would be a lot happier that way. And I think sometimes when we come to the channel, we can overshare a bit. And a lot of times you'll hear people say, well, I'm sharing because it might help somebody else. Nobody really wants our help anymore. They really don't. They just want to sit and look at the drama. They want to sit and look at people suffer. They want to sit and look at, how bad somebody else is doing. And yeah, I'm not doing that bad. I never did that. I never said that. I never did this. Yada, 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 et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I think oversharing can get us into some trouble. You don't have to tell everything. You don't have to share everything. But I say this. Be careful with what you listen to people tell, because oftentimes they don't always give you the full deets. They don't give you all the details, as my oldest granddaughter would say. I need the details. They don't always tell you everything. You can tell when people are leaving stuff out of the story because they don't want you to know, their portion. They don't want you to know their part. A lot of these stories that people tell, trust and believe, there's more to it than what they've led you to believe. There's more to it. They've left out some things that they did. They've left out some things that they've said. Trust me when I tell you. And we can say karma exists and it's real. You can call it karma. You can call it Yahweh just spanking that butt because he caught you doing something you shouldn't have been doing, acting in a way you shouldn't have been acting. So now he has to put that butt in check. And that's what I call it. So when I trip and fall, that's my fault. I did something I shouldn't have done. And Yahweh's trying to get my attention. That's what I think. That's what I believe. I might be wrong. It is hot in the bathroom. Let's go downstairs because I need to put something in the oven for. Let me turn the fan off. I am very cognizant about leaving lights burning because of they cut off my electric last month. And I'm like, what for? Y'all get a good chunk of change from us. Twice a month. I pay my electric bill twice a month. And I pay more than what I owe. So that in July or at the end of the fiscal year, I can get a little something back. But apparently, we had some type of power surge or something where we were using a whole lot of electricity. And the lady that I talked to, she was like, yeah. I said, can you tell me what months I was using so much electricity? And she said, honey, I already did. She said, because I wanted to know why you had a bill over $2,000. I even unplug stuff now. See, my husband was working from home and he had all these computers going and running 24/7. And after that last time, and then after the bill, they wanted to impose a $1,500 deposit on us. I'm like, look, we paid you what we owed. Okay? We paid you. Why would you impose another $1,500? Just trying to make it difficult for the consumer. So the lady told me, well, you pay your bill late every month. I said, what do you mean I pay late every month? I said, we pay twice a month. And we pay on the same date every month. It's auto pay. She says, well, your bill is due on, let's say she said the bill was due, I forget when she said it was due. She said, your bill is due on the 2nd, but you all pay on the 10th and the 20th of every month when it's due on the 2nd. I'm like, but y'all get paid every month. Twice a month. We've been here for 8 years and my service has never, not once since we've been here, been interrupted. And now that the bill is paid in full, because they won't turn it back on unless you pay the bill in full. Now that the bill is paid in full, you're telling me you're going to impose another $1,500? I said, please don't do that. Could you please, since the bill is paid and we're good, we've never had our service turned off before, could you please just take that $1,500 off? They were like, no. Heck no. You pay late every month. I'm like, but for 8 years it was okay. It wasn't a problem until I spoke to you. 202-225. Ooh, I forgot the number. Call your congressman. Call your senator. If the bill is paid, they can always waive the deposit. They don't have to impose the deposit. Get your congressman or your senator on the phone. Anywho, I need to cook something for dinner, and I don't know if it's thawed out. The quiche is just about gone. What else to make? I don't know. It's like, does anybody else except for me get a little tired of trying to figure out what's for dinner tonight? It's like, what do I make today? What do I cook today? And then when I ask, what y'all want for dinner? I don't know. So I'm going to get a piece of paper and write, I don't know on the plate. That's for dinner because that's what you said you wanted. I asked you what you wanted for dinner and you said, I don't know. That's what's for dinner today. Hey, I'm going to make some ice cream out of my bananas, strawberries, and blueberries. I know I'm going to do that because I said I wanted to experiment with that. I'm going to cook it just like I cooked the other one when I made the pudding. But when after I cook the bananas, strawberries, and blueberries, I'm going to freeze it. And then once it's frozen, I'm going to put it in the food processor and add some cream to it. And blend it, and then it will be like a soft serve blueberry strawberry ice cream. I think that's going to be good. These products here are going in the trash. Why? Because I saw they contain propylene glycol, and while these flavors are amazing, I cannot have sugar. And I found out propylene glycol is sugar. These, if you can tolerate sugar and propylene glycol and sugar don't bother you, go for it. I had banana, strawberry, blueberry, raspberry, cookie butter, pistachio, another blueberry, and the butter. 7 of them, but I can't use them anymore. So, and my husband doesn't use them for anything. My daughter will use them every now and then. She likes the cookie butter one, but I just don't think it's healthy for us. So we're gonna have to say goodbye to those. I don't know that I can get my money back. They are expensive. I think this one bottle was like $14. But it's very potent. I mean, all you need is a dot of one of these extracts and it'll flavor your whole cake, whatever you're making. So what I'm gonna do is just stick with, you know, my old standbys, which is McCormick. I know that, you know, people are saying products are changing and they're not what they used to be, but these are my standbys, you know. Here I got almond spice, orange, cocoa, pumpkin, lime, banana, coconut, more lime, orange, banana, lemon. I'm out of vanilla. But these are the extracts that I use currently. And I only use the banana, vanilla, and lemon. My daughter uses the rest of them. I don't use those. But anyway, I am going to start my dinner. If you like, you can hang around. I really don't have anything else to talk about except I wanted to talk about this thing called menopause. No one really told me menopause was going to be, John says there's no time to be talking. Okay. No one told me menopause was going to be like this. No one told me. I didn't know. And if I had known now, or if I had known then what I know now, I would have never gotten on that vegan diet. I struggled so much on that vegan diet with health and nutrition. I really did. And it's not like I hid it, because every time something happened, I came here and I talked about it. But the problem was I didn't equate any of what I was going through to a lack of nutrition. I didn't attribute it to my diet. I didn't. I couldn't believe it. Because someone even asked me, do you think that diet might have you, not feeling so well? And I'm like, girl, please. I had collard greens, potatoes, sweet potatoes. I had kale. I had some blueberries and some strawberries. And I had a chickpea salad. Girl, I ate good this morning. And this is the way I was eating. But it wasn't enough. Yes, there's protein in every fruit, nut, bean. Yes, there's protein in every fruit, nut, bean, seed, legume. There's protein in all of these things, but there are a variety of proteins, some weaker, some stronger than others. We're human beings. We're at the top of the food chain. We require so much more. And if I had known then that my health would have been compromised, especially when I was just moving into the change of life, going through menopause, I would have never done that to myself. And I see a lot of people who are really suffering right now because they're living that way and they think this is the right thing to do. I believe that all of us who turned to veganism, I believe that all of us were going through something. Something happened and we were like, look, I've got to heal. I've got to do better than what I'm doing. I got to feel better. I want to look better. And I think veganism, I've done everything. I've tried everything. And I think veganism is the only way to go. And we go that way. And then there's the honeymoon. And we feel good. We feel great for a month or so. And then things start to go a little haywire, but we don't attribute it to the diet. you know, and we believe now we got to take all these supplements and herbs. And let me say something about herbs. Let me say something about herbs. And I didn't know what my grandmother was talking about when she said this. But one day, my dad had gotten sick. And my grandmother was talking about giving him some type of an herb or something. And so she gave him the herb. He got well. And then he wanted to take this herb every day. And she had to tell him, that's not how herbs work. And see, we don't even respect herbs for what they are. We don't. Because we'll latch on to something somebody said, and they don't know. They don't know anything about these things because these things were not native to them. They came here and learned it from us. And they took it and used it and synthesized it, abused it, ramped it up to be something it was never meant to be. And voila, you got all these people who are on all these things with all these side effects. And so here, let me give you another prescription for the side effects you're having for these things that you took from nature and synthesized and morphed it into something it should have never have been. And now my body's reacting to it, and now you want to give me something else. And then something else happens, you want to give me something else, and then you want to give me something else. You know, we have to respect herbs for what they are. We have to respect the things that we take from nature just as they are. When you take an herb to heal something, first of all, it's only to be used in acute situations, not a situation that's going on and lasting forever. So an acute situation would be like you get a real deep cut in your leg. I mean, you get cut and it's deep. So they give you herbs to make sure that, number one, you don't get an infection. You don't end up with lockjaw because you were cut with something that was rusted or something. You know, this is an acute situation, something that happened quickly. Okay? This is when herbs are supposed to be used, and they are supposed to be used for a short time frame. And there are people who, because, oh, well, if this is good in this amount, it'll be better if I do this every day. You know, I can use this as a prophylaxis even, a preventative measure. And this is how people get into trouble with herbs because they don't really know enough about the herbs that they're using and taking. And again, herbs are not something that you take every day because a couple of things can happen. Number one, you can build up a tolerance so that when you really need it to work, it's not going to work. And the other thing is it could make you very, very ill. Herbs are very powerful things, especially in small amounts. And if you take it to the next level and you're taking it in larger amounts, in bigger doses, this is going to be a problem for you. In some form or fashion, it's going to be a problem. I had to turn the fan on. It is hot in this here kitchen. And I usually don't open up all the windows in the kitchen because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 windows in the kitchen, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 windows in the sunroom. And all the heat really comes from the sunroom because the sun is on that side of the house all day. So I normally keep the curtains closed over there, but it's so pretty out there. I like to look out there. So, anywho, I really hate to put these in the trash. I do, but I cannot use them anymore because they cause me too many problems. And I don't like feeling or being sick. I'm telling you, these last 15 years have been such a learning experience. And like I said, just when I think I know something, I find out I don't know nothing. But I tell you what, Yahweh has not only sustained me, He has not only burned and refined me, but He has sustained me and then gave back everything the devil tried to steal from me. I have learned so much, and I've had to learn much of everything that I know firsthand. I had to go through it. I had to deal with it. And I'm grateful for it, because everything that I went through prepared me for a time such as this right here. Then let me tell you something. There's no way, if I hadn't have been burned and refined, I would have never, I don't think I could even be here right now. Eating fast food every day. Wendy's, Popeyes, McDonald's, Boston Market. Drinking sodas every day, 4 and 5 and 6 sodas a day. Eating a half a gallon of ice cream in 2 days, every day. Eating at least 6 donuts every day. Oh my gosh. There's no way I can still be eating like that and be here right now. There's just no way. Especially knowing how sensitive I am to sugar right now. And I didn't even realize I had a problem with sugar. I didn't realize that I was getting so many hidden sugars in the foods that I was eating. Didn't realize it. I want to show you something in case you don't know. Hold on. This was on the table out there because I have to take it back to the store. But look at this. This is salt. Look at the ingredients. Salt, calcium silicate, which is an anti-caking agent. I don't care if the salt cakes up. I know how to break it up. It'll melt in the food that I'm cooking, okay? But then here's the problem right here. What does that say? Dextrose. You know what dextrose is, right? It's sugar. When did they start putting salt in sugar? So what I use is just plain sea salt. Now I have some kosher salt, but there was something in here I didn't like. This is from Pakistan, but they say it's packed in the U.S. I don't know. Okay, this just says salt. That's it. There's no iodine in here. And we do need iodine. But this is what I use. And the ingredients are sea salt. That's what I use. It's what I use. You know, there are so many hidden sugars in our foods, and I really didn't realize it, but I did realize, you know, even in drinking sodas, that every year they were adding more and more and more and more sugar to the soda. And I'm like, why are they doing this? And I opened a Sprite one day because that was my drink, either Sprite or grapefruit sodas from Safeway, and they stopped selling the grapefruit sodas. But I wanted, not that I wanted, I noticed that they were putting more and more sugar in the sodas every year, and I was like, why are they doing this? And then I bought a soda one day, and I was only able to take 2 sips out of it, and I had to go get some water to wash down the soda that I just drank. And I only took 2 sips. I mean, it was like stuck in my throat. And that's how I got off of sodas. It was like I was drinking a syrup. And I don't know how people drink those other high sugar sodas, the one that starts with a P that everyone likes. And then the mountain soda, whatever that is. I don't know how people drink that stuff with all the sugar and the caffeine. I don't know. I can't do it. So I wish I had known what I know now, but I'm glad to know what I do know, because what I know now, I believe, saved my life, because I couldn't have lasted here eating the way that I was eating. As a vegan, And prior to me being vegan, where I was eating fast food every day and ice cream and sodas every day, all day, there's no way I could still be here. No way. If I hadn't made a change. But see, I went to the extreme. If I had just left alone the fast food and the sugar, I'd have lost the weight. I'd have been healthier. But no, I took it to the vegan level and made myself sick. And that's just the truth, okay? That is just the truth, Ruth. It is. And once I learned what was going on in my body as a vegan and made the adjustments and the changes, I began to heal. I began to heal because every day it was something different. Oh, I feel bad today. I feel weak. I feel tired. I'm off. I don't feel right. Something's not right. I went through that almost every week. And sometimes it would last, that feeling would last for a week. And then I'd finally get 2 or 3 days here and there where everything was okay. And then I'd be right back to feeling off again. You know? And here we are doing all these tests and lab tests. And the problem was we weren't testing for the right things because no one knew what to test for. You know? And then they tell me, oh, you're going through a depression. I'm like, depressed my ass. I got shit to do. What do you mean I'm depressed? Ain't nobody got time for that. Seriously. I'm not being funny. I'm not joking about that issue of being depressed. But I'm just saying, I was not depressed. Come to find out, I was anemic. You know? I was anemic. Okay, so what I'm going to make tonight, do I want burgers? I think I'll do half burgers and half roast because I have enough meat to do both. Okay, so I do want to come back and do a video talking about menopause and how it affects us. Hold on one second. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody's comments just in case. You know, how it affects us, things to expect because no one told me. No one told me. I mean, I heard about hot flashes, and that was it. No one told me. There's a lot to this monster called menopause. You know, it's your body ratcheting down or readjusting to working with less. Because you're working with less hormones. You're working in some instances, well, I don't want to say that because that's not necessarily true. But your body's ratcheting down. And as you ratchet down, the process of ratcheting down or settling in a little bit more and working with less, it's a process and it takes a while. The adjustment takes a while. That's what I'm trying to say. The adjustment takes a little bit of a while, but you can get through it. I have chosen not to do any HRT therapy, or let's just say HRT, hormone replacement therapy. I've chosen not to do that. No one has suggested it, and I guess because my numbers are not that off, but they are off because I'm going through menopause. But no one has suggested it, but I know it's an option, and I've not wanted to do that. And I'm doing well. The one thing that I notice is that when I don't do my exercises every day, I have to exercise every day. I don't even have a choice in the matter, okay? Because if I don't exercise every day, I will feel really bad. I'll feel really bad. I don't miss a day talking to Yahweh. I don't. Now, some days I don't get to do my pray and talk, which is when I walk this kitchen for about 2, maybe 3 miles, and I talk to Yahweh. And I tell him all my business, all my fears, all my trials and tribulations, All my concerns, I give it to him. I give it all to him. And I leave it there and I don't worry about it. We all know stress and worrying will kill you. I leave it with him because if I don't leave it with him and stop talking about it and leave it alone, you know, Yahweh is like, I'm your father and you know I can do all things, right? You came to me and told me what was going on, but you act like you don't believe that I'm going to do what I said I'm going to do. Because in my word, I made promises to you, but you act like you either don't know my promises. And that's the other thing. You got to get to know Yahweh. Because you can't have a relationship with someone if you don't know them. You can't have a relationship if you don't know what to expect from them or what they expect from you. So you have to get to know Yahweh and live according to his will, word, and way. And see, this is why a lot of people are suffering right now. They've gotten away from Yahweh. They've been led astray and run amok. They've gotten away from him. And now things aren't going the way that they think they should be going. And it's all bad. And people are very unhappy. They're stressed. They're worried. They're mad. They're sad. They're angry. They're hateful. They're hurtful. All these things. Because we've gotten away from Yahweh's word. We're not living according to the way he said we're supposed to live. You know, and people want to do it their way. They want to do it the way they see other people doing it on make-believe TV and YouTube. You believe what you see on YouTube. You believe that, you know, they're living a great life because, you know, they do the pranks on the channel and they do the this, the that. All these things that Yahweh never said we were supposed to do. And then people wonder why their life is the way that it is. Because you're living against his will, his word, and his way. You know, and then you got people who pick and choose, the cherry pickers, the ones that pick and choose what they want to do, what they want to believe in the Bible. They'll pick the verses that, you know, ring true and speak closest to their agenda. Okay? That's what they want to do. But then what they also do is, that goes on the trash. They will also mix in a little bit of what they want to add in. And you know what happens when you mix things into Yahweh's word? You know what happens? See, when you start mixing things in that he never said, that's called changing Yahweh's word. And Yahweh told us in his word that we're not to change his word. We're not to add to it, and we're not to take away from it. But people are doing this and then wondering why, when they pray, wondering why, when they ask for help, they're not getting what they need. Because daughter, son, I told you how to live. I told you how to love. I told you how to raise your children, but yet you want to watch and do what you see other people do on social media platforms. You want to follow what, you know, the biggest YouTuber is doing to get, you know, clicks and views and money on you. You want to watch all of that, but you don't want to do what I'm telling you to do. And you want to mix in what I'm telling you to do with the biggest YouTuber on YouTube is doing. See? And then you want to go pray to Yahweh and say, Yahweh, give me a bigger channel, give me more money, give me more subscribers. You want to go to him for things that don't even matter, things that he's not even concerned about. Things that he never wanted you to have in the first place because they weren't the right things for you to have in the first place. See? So people have changed his word, mixing his word with a bunch of foolishness from social media, and now they want Yahweh to act some kind of way, do something for them in their life. Y'all better stop playing. Or hold on, not y'all. People who do that better stop playing with Yahweh like that. Because like I told you, there's a heaven and a hell. But then somebody might have to come back here. I love my life. I love my family. I love my children and my grandchildren. But I don't want to come back here. People keep messing with Yahweh's word and trying to submerge it and integrate it and synthesize it with foolishness of the world. You know? What does Yahweh say? You're not supposed, a man should not lay down with another man the way he would a woman, and vice versa. He says that. But then people always want to throw that bullshit in about, well, I can't help who I love. You can't help who you love. A man can love another man, but you're not supposed to be in the bed with him doing things that you would do with a woman. But you know, that's what they do. Well, you can't help who you love. I can't help who I love. Okay. You know, when you look at people's lives on social media, when you should really be busy living your own life, and then you take in and try to adopt things that they do, and you wondering why things ain't working out for you and why you suffering and mad and unhappy all the time, it's because there are some people who just don't want to follow Yahweh's will, word, and way. They want to change his word up and interject their bits and pieces and portions. They want to use the bits and parts of the Bible that fits their narrative and then think something's supposed to work out for them. No. Yahweh was very clear. He said, don't do that. Do not change my word. Do not add to my word. Do not take away from my word. But people are going to do what they want to do. And that's why I say you can't tell people anything. A lot of people are just going to do exactly what it is they want to do. That's what they'll do. So I guess I feel like, why waste my time on people I don't even know? People I'll never sit down and have grapefruit with. Why would I even waste my time? All I need to do is take care of what was given to me. A good husband, wonderful children, beautiful and sweet and loving grandchildren. Those are the people that mean something to me, and those are the people that I believe Yahweh has commissioned me to take care of and love. And that's it. I will not be on here trying to convince or sway anybody's opinion my way or the highway or whatever. I won't do it. That would be a waste of my time because, again, people are going to do what they want to do. And you know what? Sometimes that might be the best thing. Some people got to bump their own ass before they finally figure out, you know, they're not living the way that Yahweh intended. Some people have to bump their own butts. They got to see for themselves. What do they say? The best lessons learned are the hardest lessons learned? Okay. Some people got to go through it. Some people got to actually do it. And that's okay because you know what? That was me too. That's still me. You can't tell me much of anything. I got to see it. I got to smell it. I got to look at it myself. I think that's how many of us are. Tell me what you want to tell me. Maybe I won't go and do that because you said this is what happened to you. But then, you know, sometimes people have a bad experience in something because they didn't do something the way they were supposed to. And they didn't tell you about that other part. So, you know, sometimes bumping your own butt and learning your own lesson, sometimes that's the best way to go. Sometimes, you know, I know we all say we want to help. Oh, I want to help. This might help somebody else. If this helps somebody else, I want to. And like I said, no one asked anybody to come here and be a martyr. No one asked anybody to come here and be a guinea pig. And 9 times out of 10, people are just going to sit and look at you and then just judge what you did and did not do. You were living your life. You were doing what you knew how to do. You were doing the best that you knew how to do. And now that you put your business out, you've overshared, and people are criticizing you because you were just living your life, doing what you do. You know? Roast going in the oven. I'd like to do carrots, but it's too sweet for me. I can't even do carrots. I'll start itching if I do. Dwayne, I got one carrot, and I will roast that carrot in the oven because I know my husband likes carrots. Oh, I got celery too. Where's the celery? Celery's here. 3, please. I can cook the celery in there. Maybe I'll put some tomato in there too. That would make a good gravy. Put some tomato in there with the beef. A little piece of broccoli in there too. I'm just looking for stuff to cook because I didn't go to the grocery store like I was supposed to. So I just gotta work with what I got and have it done before sundown. Need to hurry and put this meat in the oven too, or else we'll be late for Sabbath again, and I don't want to be late for Sabbath. But sometimes you got to bump your own butt. Sometimes you got to learn your own lessons, you know. And like I said, no one is asking anybody to come here and be a martyr, and you shouldn't want to be a martyr. You should not want to be a martyr. Why would you want to suffer for somebody else that most likely won't even do what you say as you go and suffer through a bad situation? Why would you want to be a martyr? Why would you want to be a lab rat? Why would you want to be someone's social or science experiment? I don't want to do that. I look at it this way. My life is private. I don't need to validate how I live by sharing everything that I do. You know, some people feel like I have to validate myself, and in that, or keeping, people use this other phrase, keeping themselves accountable. I want to keep myself accountable, so I'm coming here and sharing with you everything that I'm doing. No one asked you to do that. You don't need to do that. Oversharing. Oversharing. And then the worst part of that is the people who get mad because they shared, and now people are coming for them in the comments or saying nasty things to them in the comments. Or mad because they don't feel like the video got enough views. Well, why didn't you watch my video? You know, you could have just let it play. You didn't have to, you know. I'm like, how are you going to tell me how to watch a video? You know, I'm not going to just leave my stuff running in the background because you, like I said, I feel for some of these people and the way that they think. I'm like, I've never even heard of anybody saying such a thing. And they think it's okay to come here and say those things. And it's kind of like begging almost, you know? And if you know the Bible, you know what Yahweh says about begging. He doesn't think highly of begging at all. You know, if you want to come here and watch my video, come here and watch my video. If you don't, great. This is why I don't ask for subscribers. I don't ask anybody to share my videos. I do my videos horizontal. I play my music, and I'm getting ready to play some now, because I come here to enjoy my life and share a little bit of what I do in front of you. Just a little bit, just a taste, just a little bit. Can't tell you everything, you know? Not all that's your business. You understand? So, I should have seasoned this this celery before I put it in the pan, because I seasoned the onions. I seasoned everything. I do. Oh, and I got lavender too. I'm going to put some lavender on my celery. But I was going to say something and I forgot what I was going to say, and it was important too. Please bring it back to my mind that way. I was talking about, I'm trying to remember what I was saying. I forget. But I know I was talking a lot about boundaries, but I was in the store the other day, and this lady was standing right on top of me, and I hate that. And every time I inched up, she inched up. And I mean, she was like right here. Right here. So I pulled out my phone. This is how to get rid of those people who do that. I pulled out my phone and I started recording her. And she looked at me, and then she was like, she looked like, oh, I'm in the way. She's trying to record something. And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, I'm recording you because you're too close. So she stepped out of the way. And then I pivoted and turned a little bit, and then she got closer again. And I had to say to her, ma'am, could you please give me some space? You're a little too close for my comfort, please. She's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, what is wrong with these people who are so, what do they call it? These people who are they have no awareness of self. That's what it is. They don't get it, that their actions are off-putting and strange and bothersome, Like you run into the person into the store and they're telling you, oh, I'm making a video. I didn't ask you what you were doing. Or the people that tell you, they just met you, right? They just met you. And they're telling you, well, and so when I was talking to Paula, I was telling her that I'm coming to the store, and Paula was telling me that I shouldn't go to this, and they're telling me all about Paula, and I'm like, I don't know you. Why would I know Paula? Why are you in my face saying anything to me right now? Just people who do strange and what we consider weird things, they have no self-awareness. They don't even know or understand that what they're doing is very off-putting. It's like walking up to somebody in the store and recording their hands and saying, I'm not going to get your face, I'm just getting your hands. It's like, move away, okay? Agitate the gravel. Move around. You're weird. Step over. That's weird behavior. That is weird. I didn't ask you who you were on the phone with. If you know it's inappropriate to film me without my permission, why are you attempting to film any part of me? Why are you standing and looking at any part of my body out here in public or any place? Because I don't even know you. But they don't understand how they have no self-awareness. They have no self-awareness. That's all I can say. And it's so sad to see people like that because they don't get it. And then when people don't take to them, they don't understand or know why. Why people, they take to them for a minute and then they get a whiff and then they're gone. It's like, wow. No. It's sad though. It's sad that people don't understand, boundaries and I don't know. It's a strange thing. I'm going to peel this carrot because I know my husband likes carrots. And I will put the carrots in the air fryer with a little bit of lavender, salt, and pepper, and some paprika. And I bought some French-made butter. And ooh, I had like 2 tablespoons of butter by itself yesterday. Yes, I did. I'm trying to lose a little bit more weight, maybe another 15 pounds or so. But check this out. Listen, what What am I looking for? I forgot. So close the refrigerator. Listen, oh, the ooh to do. Would you like to see the ooh to do? Let me show you the ooh to do. As my sweet friend Dee would say, let me show you the ooh to do. Can you see? Okay. This, ladies, is the ooh to do. Isn't it lovely? Chiffon. And I said I wasn't buying any more plastic clothes. But listen, I wouldn't call this plastic. I say it's chiffon. It probably is. But let me tell you where I got it from. I don't know if you all know, but you should know if you don't. The Eclecticnista. Eclecticnista. Professor who? Professor Nista. I got this dress from the Eclecticnista. Eclectic. That's the first word. Nista, Nista. Eclecticnista. And I got this dress from her. She sells vintage clothing. I forget her supply, how she gets her clothes. But the things that she shows are all very nice, beautiful. She shipped it out and it was packaged so neatly, so beautifully, and I just love it. And it's a size 10. I haven't seen a size 10 since I was in high school. It's a size 10. Now, I'll admit I got a little help in the back because across the back there's some elastic. Do you see it? Can you see it? But it's a size 10. And I think it fits me well. It's not at all tight. It's tight around my neck because I tied it tight. Whoo, child. Need a little extra help with the girls here because, you know, sometimes they don't be wanting to get up. Child, they so ran over, I got to lay down to put my bra on. I didn't have to say that, did I? Sorry. Anywho. The girls need some help. I might get them some help, too. If I don't have to be put to sleep, I might get them some help. Because, yeah, I'm tired of looking at that. So, you know how it goes. When you feel like you need to make a change, do what you need to do. And make that move right now, baby. Okay, what am I doing? Putting the foil on here. That's the beef, onions, celery. My husband always tells me he don't like celery, but he eats everything I make when I make it with celery. Yes, he do. I don't like raw celery because it makes me nauseous. But as long as it's cooked, I'm good. Why am I in the refrigerator? Because I'm looking for something else. I don't know what I'm looking for. Honestly, I don't. But I know I need to put this meat in the oven or else we're going to be late for salad. Because it's going to take at least 2 hours to cook this meat. I usually cook it for 2.5 hours. On 325. If you want a nice tender piece of beef, cook it on a low heat. If you put this in the oven at 400, the meat's going to cook and seize up really hard and fast. And your meat is going to be very tough. Cook it on a low heat. Anywhere between 300 to 350. I do 325. And let it slow cook. Fast cooking your meat is just going to make it tough. Cooking it fast and at a high heat, and your meat is going to seize up real quick, real fast. This is the easiest way to get out the kitchen. Put the meat in the oven and let it cook. Doggone it. All right, now I only had 1 carrot. Oh, I said I was going to put tomatoes in there. I'm still going to do it. All right, so there's the carrots. And I'm just going to do some onion powder. A couple of shades of garlic flakes. Some pepper. And some sea salt. And a little bit of lavender. And some basil. Ooh, baby. Now, I can't eat them, but my husband can. And I know he likes the way I season my food, baby. Oh, paprika would be good on there, too. All right, so what did I say? Lavender and something else. Lavender and basil. Where's the basil? Got it. So I'm going to do a little paprika. Some lavender on the carrots. I should make me a cup of lavender tea and lemon. Ooh, that would be good. Lavender blueberry tea. Ooh, that would be good. And some basil. I'm telling you, between basil, lavender, and dill, those are my favorites. My favorite things to season with. Ooh, this smells good. Look at it. Look at it. Come over here and look at it. Look, look, look. Isn't that pretty? There we go. Isn't that pretty? Okay. There we go. So speaking of getting the girls a little help. Oh, shoot. I think I might get some stitches, too. There's this plastic surgery. Because I didn't beat her as much as I can beat her. And sometimes she behave, and then sometimes she be slipping, right? I'm tired of this heifer slipping, all right? So the other thing I can do is there's a doctor who came up with this surgery. And basically what he does is he makes an incision like as big as a fingernail. Makes a slight incision. He catches a hold of 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 5 muscles, and he pulls those muscles back, and then he stitches them. So the muscle is here, and he'll pull it back to here and stitch it right here, okay? Giving your chin and neck a lift, and then he just closes the hole up, and you're awake for the whole thing. So I think I might get the 2 stitches, one here and one there. Huh? Where is he? Oh, okay. All right. All right. Can you do me a favor? Try and grind that meat up into burger meat. I don't know if you can because it's still a little frozen. If you can't, don't worry about it. Okay. I need water, and I don't have anything to put water in. Is he there, or he's almost there?
He said he's here.
What's that? Where'd you get that from? Is it clean?
Yeah.
Does it stink?
No.
Let me see.
I just used it.
It's got a smell. It's got a smell. I'll just get a sip of water because I have to cut down on my water intake. I'm doing too much again, but I can't help it. I don't know what's wrong. Why do I need so much water all the time? It's not good. Can you lock the door for me? Please, ma'am. Oh, but yeah, I'm all over the place. Sorry. My dress is from the Eclectic Nista here on YouTube, and she's also on, I think it's TikTok. I'm not sure. But go to her channel. check out the Eclecnista. She does these lives, and it's like an auction. And she's got all these clothes, and if you see something hanging there that you like, hold on, y'all, 1 second. Oh, oh. Hang in there, y'all. I'm coming. I'll be right there. I'll be right there, y'all. Just hang on. Bear with. Ooh, it is out here, but that's how I like it, honey. I can't deal with all this cold weather. It's not good for my body. Hold on. Let me put you up here, right there. Okay. All right. Didn't even put a seatbelt on. Put your seatbelt on. Don't be living dangerous. Be safe. Stop speeding. Okay. All right. So anyway, the eclectic Nista. The clothes she sells. Oh, and I also got a kimono. This is my second kimono. I had a blue one. Actually, it's not really a kimono. Um, I have to look up what it is, but it's a Japanese piece of clothing. And I put it in the washing machine, and I debated on putting it in the washing machine because it looked like it was raw silk. If it was raw silk, I destroyed it. I messed it up. But I did wash it in cold water and just a little bit of soap, and I put it on delicate. So hopefully it's okay. So yeah, so the plastic surgery I was talking about, where they make a little incision here and they pull the muscle 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, I think, and then they tie it up and put a knot in it, and then they close up. It's a little incision about that big, you know. They make the incision, then he reaches in with like these tongue like things and pulls the 4 or 5 muscles together and pulls your face back. But I don't want to end up looking like the Joker. There's nothing wrong with my face. I love my face. It's just this heifer right here. Okay, I be beating on her, and she be wanting to hang, and especially if I'm dehydrated, especially if I don't, oil my skin well at night. I have to do so much to her. Um, and then I considered. I don't know if I'm gonna do it because I don't want this big square head. There's this thing called mewing, Mewing, mewing. I don't know what it's supposed to mean, what it's supposed to stand for. People be making up all kind of crazy stuff, but it's these little silicone cubes, and people are chewing on these silicone cubes. I don't know what's in the silicone cubes. I don't know if I should even be putting this thing in my mouth, right? Because you don't know what they put in there. You don't know. You could be poisoning yourself, right? And the other thing is they have these things that you can put in your mouth to exercise your neck, your throat, and your jaw. And I've seen people use these exercise things, and it looks like it made whatever they had going on worse. And I don't want my situation to be worse. So I'm not going to use the chewing, mewing things because I don't know what I'm chewing on. I don't know what I'm putting in my mouth. But maybe the little mouth exercisers I might use because it will help. Um, it'll help. I don't know that it will help with the loose skin in my throat. I don't know if it's a muscle issue. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. If it is a muscle issue, this stitching thing should work really good. Let me tell you who had that done. It's Justine's World. She had that done. She had a stitch here and a stitch there. And I didn't listen to the whole video that she did. I just know that's what she had done. I listened to like maybe 5 minutes of the video. She talked about it. Um, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, she said she was awake. And they are moving towards doing a number of surgeries with people awake. If you can just put somebody in a twilight, a lot of people can withstand most surgeries in a twilight. I mean, they put people in twilight for open heart surgery. They put people in twilight when they do surgery on people's brains because they need to be able to talk to you and ask you questions like, uh, can you feel this in your leg? Can you feel this in your toe? They want to talk to you and make sure they haven't hit anything. And if they have, they can fix it real quick, before, too much damage is done because you've lost, sensation in your toe or something. So I think they are moving towards doing surgeries with people awake and doing a lot less cutting, you know. Um, because, there are certain surgeries where they would cut your entire stomach open to do and a removal of an appendix when now they just use a laparoscopic tool that goes through a small incision and you're in and you're out. So surgery is getting better because I know a lot of people have fears about being put to sleep because I think that is just so unnatural to see somebody fall asleep like that. You know, you put something over their mouth and nose and they're supposed to count backwards and they don't make it to 98, before they're knocked out. That is so unnatural and so scary to me. Um, and that's part of why I haven't been under the knife because, as I said a few times, I was given a diagnosis in 2018, and every time I go to the doctor, they're like, well, "What are you going to do?" I'm like, "I'm Serena. What do you think I need to do?" And of course, they bring up the surgery, and you need to get this surgery. No, no. And I'll never forget how the doctor delivered the news to me of, my situation. I was sitting in a waiting room and she just comes over and sits next to me and there were people all around me sitting next to me. And she says, we got the CAT scan back and this is your situation. And people were like, oh, and I was like, oh, really? Oh, okay. She was like, well, you want me to call somebody? No, I got my car. I drove in. Call somebody for what? But then it hit me, the magnitude of what she said, it hit me when I got home, but I still didn't cry. I didn't get upset. I wasn't scared. To this day, I wasn't scared. And I'm grateful that, I don't know, maybe she thought she was going to really freak me out by saying what she had to say to me and then saying it in a room full of people, just no regard